speak to the test Jamal is obviously we know him well here, Agnew that is, just the weapon that he is and how dangerous he can be. Is this one of those where you have to go into it thinking, okay, maybe we just don't kick it to him?
Yeah, I don't know if I would say we don't have to kick it to him, but I do know that I have a lot of respect for him. I loved him when he was here, when I watched him play here. Obviously, when I got here, he was gone or a free agent, didn't come back here. I think really highly of the guy. I would definitely say that as both a punt returner and a kick returner. And I would also say that I feel like he's starting to play some of his best football. And then I also think that anytime you talk about good returner play, you also got to talk about the core guys that are helping them out. And these guys do a nice job. These guys got a competitive roster, a lot of talent over there. They're well coached. The head coach, I know, gives these guys plenty of time on special teams. I obviously work for him. So he's going to give them plenty of time and plenty of players and resources. And they do a nice job. So obviously for us, it'll be a big part of the game. We got our hands full with them. I do know that the guys in our room are excited to play, though.
You just referenced, obviously, your time with Doug. Just, you guys accomplished some pretty good things there in Philly together. What's your relationship like with him? What was it like to work for him?
Yeah, I'd say it would be hard to have a bad relationship with him. No, I mean, it's great. We won the Super Bowl together. He kept me on board when he came in, which he didn't have to do. Gave me a chance to work for him. He was very supportive with special teams. He put a big emphasis on it. He gave us a lot of time practice-wise. Players, whatever we needed, he gave us. And then just a great person, him, his wife. He's got a couple of kids, his 3 boys. They're great guys. And I enjoyed their whole family. My family enjoyed their family. Great people. I think the world of them as a coach and a person, and I'm definitely grateful for what he's done for me, for sure.
What similarity do you see between, them and him and what he's doing and sort of what's going on here, both sort of young teams in this process that have been playing pretty good football of late?
To be honest with you, I'm not trying to avoid the question. I just say it's hard for me. I don't really look at it that way. I know when he came into Philadelphia, we were trying to build something. We obviously had a down year the year before, and he did a great job rallying the players and obviously does a great job calling offensive plays, and he's just a great guy to be around. I mean, he was a backup quarterback, obviously, for a long time, played in the league for a long time. The players can really connect with him that way. Like a lot of those backup quarterbacks, I think they have a unique way of, being able to rally the whole locker room. Everyone kind of likes them, but they're also kind of ready. They know what's going on. But likable, they support the starting quarterback. Like, you see all that stuff in them.
How happy were you to see first snap on special teams, James Houston makes a huge play? A fumble that usually doesn't really happen with
yeah, we don't like that play, but we were glad he made it.
His first ever snap in the NFL, really, just be able to have awareness to jump on that ball and make a play.
Yeah, that was good. We didn't like the fact that the ball came off us, but it was great that he picked it up for sure. I thought Houston did a good job for us. He played a handful of plays, a little bit of punt return, a little bit of kickoff. And for his first time out there, obviously his defensive performance, I think, was probably even better than that. But anyway, he's done a nice job, and we'll try to keep seeing what we can do with him here.
Khalif's had a pretty good year as a punt returner, just was lacking, I guess, the big one. Had that after the fumble, he bounced back, had the big return. What did you see on that play, and how close has it been, I guess, for that to break the way it did?
Yeah, I think I don't know. I feel like we may have talked about this, but I'm not positive. But I think sometimes it's just chances and opportunities. You have to get enough of them. And leading up to that point, he really hasn't had a ton of opportunities for a bunch of returns. So anyways, he definitely got one in that game. He did a great job with it. You could tell, I feel like, really the first punt return of the game, you could tell he was on a mission to make something happen with the football in his hands. And he really did that on the first one. Obviously, the ball came off him, but and then the second one, same thing. I mean, you could see he was going to catch that ball. Those 2 gunners were coming down on him. They had 2 pretty good gunners out there. And those guys were coming down on him. You could tell he wasn't going to fair catch it. And here he goes. And then he obviously did a great job making those first 2 guys miss. and getting away from them. And then, man, he came wheeling around the corner. He was coming downhill. He was definitely playing with a purpose. So we hope we can continue to build on that.
Another player that kind of bounced back from an early mistake. Badgley obviously missed the short field goal, but how good was it to see him make that big time kick?
Yeah, that kick at the end of the game was great. Yeah, I would say, it's unfortunate we missed a kick early in the game. I was kind of thinking about this, I feel like people feel like sometimes, well, if you lose the game, it's really a downer that you miss a kick. And I would just say for me, anytime you miss a kick you think you can make, it's a downer, and it doesn't really matter what the outcome of the game is. I think when we look at it, or I look at it, they're all the same, regardless of the outcome. So anytime we miss a kick that we know is a makeable kick, or our percentages should be really high on, obviously disappointing. But yeah, I was definitely pleased to see him come back. I mean, that's who he is. He's been great for us. I got no reservations about him going forward or any of that stuff. He's very consistent, calm, and go figure. The next kick's a big kick. It's further back there, and he did a great job.
Seems like every other week or so we're asking about the field goal rush. I don't know if that impacted their miss at all last week, but just in general, how pleased are you with how they're playing?
Yeah, I would say that our field goal block or rush unit has done a great job throughout the course of the year. I definitely feel like they put consistent pressure on the opponent. I would argue that, man, we probably had a chance to block a few more than we have. But at the end of the day, I think that pressure does go a long ways, and I'm sure those guys feel it on the other side of the ball and getting prepared for you. I mean, I always say that the game really starts like Monday or Tuesday when the opponent starts watching film of you and you start watching film of them. And if you can put some things on film that make them say, okay, wait a minute, we got to make sure we get this right, you're starting to apply some pressure early in the week, and I think that goes a long ways later in the week.